Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Universal Classes। तो बच्चों आज हम स्टार्ट करेंगे इस बुक को स्टार्ट करने का हमारा उद्देश्य यही है कि इसमें मैं इस बुक को कवर करूंगी तो आपको जो इम्पोर्टेंट लगता है वो आप इससे सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं, अदरवाइज लक्ष्मीकांत ही प्रिफर करिए। So governance in India, basics and beyond। कुछ स्टूडेंट्स कुछ चैप्टर्स ऐसे होते हैं जो कि उसमें पॉलिटी में नहीं मिलते हैं, तो हम गवर्नेंस इन इंडिया के माध्यम से ऐसे टॉपिक्स को कवर करेंगे जो कि उस बुक में ना हो, या फिर अब हम थोरोली ही स्टडी करेंगे ताकि कुछ नए पॉइंट्स आपको अगर मिल सके तो आप उससे सेलेक्ट कर लीजिएगा। तो चैप्टर 1 में हम पढ़ेंगे गवर्नेंस एंड कॉन्सेप्चुअल इंट्रोडक्शन, फिर जनरल फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ इंडियन मॉडल ऑफ गवर्नेंस, फिर पढ़ेंगे इंडियन पार्लियामेंट, फिर इशूज concerning the judiciary, फिर pertaining to the federal structure, citizen participation in governance, जो कि गवर्नेंस इन इंडिया का जो कोर पॉइंट रहेगा। तो कंपैरिजन ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल स्कीम विद दैट ऑफ अदर सर्विसेज, स्टैट्यूटरी, रेगुलेटरी एंड क्वासी जुडिशियल बॉडीज, रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल एक्ट, फिर रोल ऑफ सिविल सर्विसेज इन डेमोक्रेसी, ये डायरेक्ट टॉपिक रहता है। ई गवर्नेंस है, राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन है, सिटीजन चार्टर है, वेलफेयर स्कीम्स फॉर दी वल्नरेबल सेक्शंस ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन। तो ये कुछ टॉपिक्स हैं जो कि इम्पोर्टेंट हैं, तो मैं आज से स्टार्ट करूंगी। अगर आपको अच्छा लगेगा तो प्लीज वीडियो को लाइक कर दीजिएगा और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिएगा। तो हम बच्चों आज पढ़ेंगे चैप्टर 1 गवर्नेंस अ कॉन्सेप्चुअल इंट्रोडक्शन में। जो इम्पोर्टेंट है हमारा ये गुड गवर्नेंस का पॉइंट है। तो इसमें हम कॉटिलियन गुड गवर्नेंस पढ़ेंगे, फिर प्लाटो पढ़ेंगे जो कि एथिक्स में भी कवर होता है, और अरिस्टोटल पढ़ेंगे। तो आइए बच्चों इतना हम इससे स्टार्ट करते हैं। टू गवर्नेंस इन इंडिया, बेसिक्स एंड बियॉन्ड। तो इसमें भी मैंने एक कंटेंट जो मेन कंटेंट है वो मैंने पीछे ही बता दिया है, तो अब हमको इसमें डिटेल में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। अब हम स्टार्ट करते हैं कि सबसे पहले हमें ये पता होना चाहिए कि गवर्नेंस होता क्या है। तो इस बुक के अनुसार जो बताया गया है कि गवर्नेंस इज द एक्सरसाइज ऑफ इकोनॉमिक, पॉलिटिकल एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अथॉरिटी टू मैनेज अ कंट्रीज अफेयर्स एट ऑल लेवल। हमारा जो थ्री टायर सिस्टम ऑफ गवर्नेंस है, तो सेंट्रल है, स्टेट है, लोकल है ना स्टूडेंट? सेंट्रल है, फिर लोकल है, फिर स्टेट है, फिर लोकल है जो हमारा। तो ये ऑल लेवल्स पे जो गवर्नेंस की जाती है, जो गवर्नेंस की जाती है, जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, जो अथॉरिटी, इकोनॉमिक, पॉलिटिकल और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव अथॉरिटी ली जाती है, वो गवर्नेंस होता है, उसी को गवर्नेंस कहते हैं। इट कंप्राइजेस द मैकेनिज्म, processes and institutions through which citizens and groups articulate their interests, exercise their legal rights, meet their obligations, and mediate their differences. तो ये जो डेफिनेशन है ये पॉलिसी रिपोर्ट 1997 यूएनडीपी से ली गई है। गवर्नेंस की बहुत सारी डेफिनेशन होती है, लेकिन एक ऑथेंटिक डेफिनेशन लेने के लिए इस बुक के अकॉर्डिंग मैंने ये डिस्कस ये ले लिया है। So the concept of governance refers to the process and structures that are intended to bring about accountability. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है। अकाउंटेबिलिटी, रिस्पॉन्सिवनेस, ट्रांसपेरेंसी, स्टेबिलिटी, रूल ऑफ लॉ, इक्विटी, इंक्लूसिवनेस, empowerment, broad-based participation. Apart from this, governance also represents the values, norms, and rules of the system through which public affairs are managed in a transparent, responsive, inclusive, and participatory way. In a broad sense, governance can be defined as the institutional environment in which citizens and other stakeholders interact among themselves and participate in public affairs. Therefore, governance is more significant than just the organs of government. The key distinction between government and governance underscored by many scholars is the involvement of institutions beyond the state in the management of the public affairs. Deputy Secretary General of United Nations in his speech said governance is not something the state does to society, but the way society itself and the individuals who compose it regulate all the different aspects of their collective life. The state thus is the welder of power and the principal actor in the government. While in governance, the whole society is involved in managing public affairs. The government still continues to play a key role in enabling and facilitating the participation of other elements in the society. The state, thus, as an enabler, provides the important legal and regulatory framework and political order within which various organizations can act and function and where the citizens act without fear. तो ये एक बेसिक सा डिफरेंस था दोनों के बीच में। आइए हम इसकी डिफरेंस को और भी इजीली समझते हैं कि जो कि गवर्नमेंट और गवर्नेंस में बेसिक डिफरेंस क्या है। तो गवर्नमेंट इज द स्ट्रक्चर व्हिच इनेबल्स एंड फैसिलिटेट्स द प्रोसेस ऑफ गवर्नेंस। और गवर्नेंस क्या होता है? गवर्नेंस इज द प्रोसेस वेयर बाय वेरियस एक्टर्स वर्क फॉर द वेलफेयर ऑफ द पीपल। It is the machinery and an organ which wields power of the state. It includes the executive, legislature and the judiciary जो कि organs हैं government के। जबकि governance में is carried out by various entities including the state and other institutions existing outside of it, which includes the civil society, non-governmental organizations, etc. So government is a formal setup which interacts with itself, within itself and outside of it. और गवर्नेंस में है तो दो इट इन्वॉल्व out of the formal setup of the state, it expands the scope of government and also intensifies the service delivery provided. So there are various entities which are involved in governance. Apart from the formal government and its institutions, the other actors are the NGOs, civil societies, research institutions, financial institutions, educational institutions, lobbyists, MNCs, media, cooperatives, etc. All are come under the governance. So all these institutions directly or indirectly come under the part of governance. So all these institutions play a vital role in decision making and also influence the process of decision making. So what is good governance? So students, the World Bank defines the term good governance is one of its reports as good governance is epitomized by predictable, open and enlightened policy making, a bureaucracy imbued with professional ethos acting in furtherance of the public good, the rule of law, transparent process, and a strong civil society participating in public affairs. Apart from this, good governance also refers to a participative manner of governing, which functions in a responsible, transparent, and accountable manner based upon the notions of legitimacy, efficiency, and concerns for the purpose of upholding the rights of individual citizens. So, this idea of providing good governance for the people has been in existence since ancient times. The concept of welfare state has been built by a number of world-renowned philosophers, including Kautilya. The government is understood to bring the happiness and for the welfare of its subjects. In a democratic setup, it can also be associated with efficient and effective administration. So, such an administration should be development oriented and committed to the welfare of the people. So, Kautilya on good governance. So Kautilya, in his as Arthashastra, elaborating on the traits processed by the king of a welfare state, he stated that the happiness of the king lies with the happiness of his subjects. Their welfare is his welfare. He should not act for his own pleasure, but for the pleasure of his subjects. Thus, the king is just a title given to the one who governs. This titular role is thought to be the brain of the government, and the people who are governed are considered to be the heart of the government. The ultimate role of the king is therefore to govern for the welfare of his people. So Kautilya mentions imperatives of good governance of a king. So guide the administration effectively, take the middle path, avoiding the extremes without missing the goal, maintain law and order of the state, pay fixed salary and emoluments to the public servants, lay emphasis on the writers, lead a disciplined life with morality and ethics, merge his individual personality with his duty, display administrative qualities, carry out strong measures against corrupt officials, replace bad ministers with good ones. These are the imperatives of good governance according to Arthashastra. So, Plato on good governance. So what about the views of Plato on good governance? So, Plato is credited with creating the philosopher king. As an ideal ruler, Plato believes that conflicting values in various parts of the society can be harmonized. The rational and righteous political order, as suggested by Plato, leads to harmonious unity of society, where every part flourishes without the expense of the other. Such a political realization is not possible without virtue. So, Plato, in his book Republic, calls for the rule of philosopher king. The following are the important aspects of a philosopher king theory as dealt by Plato. तो आइए जो इनके प्लाटो की जो इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स है उन पे नजर डालते हैं जो कि थे पहला है जिसमें द philosopher king can be man or woman. Only the bright, stable, and courageous people are chosen to be a king. Special incentive, special intensive training should be provided to them, covering a wide area ranging from music, gymnastics to military aspect and city management. They should be imparted knowledge of being just, noble, good, and advantageous. Next, goodness is not just a concept, but it is the ultimate state of their mind. Next, the aim of the rulers should be to spread happiness throughout the city by getting people close together in harmony. An ideal state is not governed for private gain and is free from any civil strife. The philosophers rule out of necessity and not for their benefit or pleasure. Hence, they should not have any attachment to the process of ruling and the power associated with it. According to Plato, freedom is one of the important values of the society. Apart from this, other values including wisdom, courage, justice, moderation, and friendship. Next, the rule of authority is not only rational but also moral and is based on the consent of the governed. The underlying idea of governance by philosophers is based on the idea of welfare. Philosopher next है philosophers rule calls for impartial and equal treatment of all citizens and social groups, and the government exists for the benefit of all the group of citizens. देन अरिस्टोटल के अकॉर्डिंग जो गुड गवर्नेंस का कॉन्सेप्ट है वो है Aristotle can be considered to be the first person to deal with the term governance when he classified political organization based on the manner they are ruled as dictatorship, autocracy, and finally democracy. In his book Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle describes that only when man lives with virtue, he can live a happy life as intended by the nature. In his other book, Politics, he describes the role to be played by politicians and the political community in bringing about the life of virtue in the citizenry. So, some of the important aspects dealt by Aristotle are as follows. So, first is the end or purpose of politics is the best of the end, and the main objective of politics should be to stimulate a particular character among the citizens of the state and to make them better beings who are prepared and willing to perform noble actions. So Aristotle calls for the citizens to directly participate in the assembly, not just by voting for their representatives, but deliberately and willingly serve in the juries to help uphold the laws, so that the citizens can become part of a group which discuss the good and the bad, the advantages and the disadvantages, the just and the unjust, and finally come to a decision and pass laws accordingly. The state should exist for developing the virtue of its citizens. Those who are the most virtuous are fit to rule according to Aristotle, and they will be the best rulers on behalf of the citizens, instituting laws which lead to a virtuous life. According to Aristotle, no regime can exist if the laws do not rule them. Next, every human life has a telos or purpose. According to Aristotle, the purpose and function of the political community is to provide education and laws that will lead people to pursue and achieve their telos. The best city, according to Aristotle, is one which is happy and acts nobly, and such noble acts as are impossible without noble ends. According to Aristotle, the territory of a state should be large enough so that its inhabitants can live a life at leisure in liberal manner and at the same time with moderation. And the main concern of the study of Aristotle is related about the life at peace and not at war. Hence, the elaborates upon the character of a peaceful state. Aristotle calls for proper and effective education be provided to be the young, and it should be the main object of the legislator. Education should be same for all and common and should not be made privatized. The main aim of education should be to empower the students to serve the common goods of the city. So, origin of the modern concept of good governance. So, concept of good governance emanated from the understanding of process of governance. Governance entailed participation from all sections of the society, and the concept of good governance emerged at the end of 1980s, an era of tumultuous global political scenario. The collapse of Berlin Wall on November 1989 triggered chain of events, which ultimately led to the disintegration and collapse of Soviet Union, and as a consequence of the decay of alliances. तो बच्चों ये जो ओरिजिन है ये इतना इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है हम अब इनको ना ध्यान देते हुए ना पढ़ते हुए हम मेन पॉइंट पे आते हैं जो कि हमारे एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव से इम्पोर्टेंट होगा तो आइए बच्चों हम आते हैं कि गुड गवर्नेंस जो वर्ल्ड बैंक के अकॉर्डिंग है वो क्या है शॉर्ट में So good governance according to World Bank consists of political accountability. Please remember political accountability, then regular election to legitimize the exercise of political power, then rule of law, then participation of various social, economic, cultural, and professional groups in the process of governance, bureaucratic accountability, independence of judiciary, freedom of information, transparency, effective and efficient administrative system. So, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) has also identified four major components of good governance. So, legitimacy of the government, accountability of the political and official elements of government, competence of the government to make policies and deliver services, rule of law and respect for human rights. So, as per the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, UNESCAP, good governance has eight major priorities: participatory, consensus oriented, accountability, transparent, responsiveness, effective and efficient, equitable and inclusive, and and follows the rule of law. So these are eight major features by United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. So students, please remember these are for the easiness of you. The United Nations Development Programme in 1997 on its document entitled Governance and Sustainable Human Development enunciated a set of few principles that are grouped under five broad themes. So these are legitimacy and voice, direction, performance, accountability and fairness. So legitimacy and voice, it deals with the participation and consensus orientation of the society. So direction, it explains the strategic vision of the government regarding good governance and human development. Performance, the effectiveness, responsiveness and efficiency of the government are explained under this theme. The accountability deals with the transparency and accountability of the government. So fairness, the legal framework, rule of law and equity among the citizens are explained in this theme. So report on human development in South Asia, the crisis of governance, Human Development Center 1999. So this report lays emphasis on human governance. It defines human governance as good governance dedicated to secure human development. Governance must be seen by people as per seen by people as participatory and in their own interest, ownership, conducting conductive to building of a society in which no rule, no one feels humiliated, so decency, and embodied in structures which are transparent and accountable to the owners, that is the people accountability. So ownership, decency, accountability are the bedrock principles underlying humane governance. While good governance must reduce transaction cost and enforce contracts, humane governance must be based on both real and perceived ownership, decency and accountability for and by all citizens, people's active participation is the guiding force behind the concept of humane governance. So, humane governance is a powerful concept which, if implemented, can help in enriching the life of the common people and lay the basis for fair and more just societies in which human, political, and economic rights of all people are protected and their freedom of choice expanded. So, this report on human development in South Asia visualizes three dimensions of governance which brings about human development. They are political governance, economic governance, and civil governance. So, according to report on human development in South Asia, which visualize three dimensions of governance, which are basically political, then economic, and then civil governance. तो पॉलिटिकल गवर्नेंस के जो मेन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं एक गुड पॉलिटिकल गवर्नेंस कैसा होना चाहिए तो वो हम इन यहाँ से हम देख सकते हैं जिसमें फर्स्ट पॉइंट है कि रेगुलर एंड फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शंस विद पार्टिसिपेशन इन फॉर्म ऑफ multi-party democracy, an impartial judiciary amendable by many of the branches of government, accountability and transparency of elected representatives and public officials, full access of all citizens to justice that is prompt and affordable, elimination of all forms of discrimination against women and minorities, maintenance of peace and social cohesion within and between the states. So स्टूडेंट्स नेक्स्ट है इकोनॉमिक टॉपिक, इकोनॉमिक गवर्नेंस का टॉपिक, जो कि हम नेक्स्ट डे पे डिस्कस कर लेंगे। तो प्लीज अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा हो तो ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों तक पहुंच बनाइए, क्योंकि ये बुक बहुत कम रीड की जाती है और ये अच्छी बुक है, इसमें से आप अच्छे पॉइंट्स यूज कर सकते हैं। सो थैंक यू, प्लीज like and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thank you, students.